It is a great pleasure to share my passion for artificial intelligence and exponential finance with you. AI has flown beneath the radar for the first 6 decades of its development. And just recently, it's exploded into public consciousness. But what may not be as obvious is that what's emerging is an intimate symbiosis between machine intelligence and human intelligence. For example, here's a new hedge fund called Numerai, which crowdsources its algorithms from teams of data scientists. Here's a company called Affirm that's run by Max Levchin. And Max is a member of the PayPal mafia. He's also a co-founder of Yelp. And Max and his team are completely dedicated to disrupting consumer credit, making it cheaper, fewer fees, and easier to get. Kensho is a global analytics company that uses machine intelligence to increase financial transparency. What's not as obvious is the heavy lifting going on behind the scenes there. This is what it really looks like at machine intelligence companies, a true symbiosis between machines and humans. Here's a company called Sentient, which has $135 million invested in them. They were founded by one of the architects of Siri, Adam Cheyer, and they're all about massively scaling AI and deep learning, a very powerful pattern recognition algorithm, and evolutionary intelligence. So what does that word mean? Let me show you their schema. So they start with a lot of randomly generated solutions or agents. They train those agents, and then they rank how well they do predicting the market. Then they destroy 95%, the bottom of the class. They select the top 5%, and they restart the process by training and replicating the top 5%, allowing them to mutate and create innovative solutions. And they go through this cycle millions of times to get extraordinary solutions. Here's AlphaSense. It's a financial search engine, a domain-specific financial search engine that is built on the insight that financial analysts often spend most of their time searching for data. And it turns out to be hard to do. Yes, they do a lot of searching, but it's hard to get exactly what they want. And this system provides semantic search in the financial arena. Here's FinGenius, a set of diversified machine intelligence systems on a single platform specifically built for banks and insurance companies. And IBM has graduated Watson from winning against the 2 world champions in Jeopardy way back in ancient history, 2011. And they have moved into medicine and lots of other areas, including banking and finance. And they have a concept that they are moving with now called the cognitive bank. And it's built on their cognitive computing and Watson. And it's all about helping banks and financial institutions make much better use of their data, be able to see insights in their data, and allowing their customers to get the benefit of that so that they get deeper engagement and help financial institutions and their users make better decisions in a timely way. All of you have heard about the win of Alphabet's AlphaGo system over the world champion in Go, Lee Sedol. This match took place in March in Korea. AlphaGo won 4 games to 1, and it created what is now known as AlphaGo shock. Just to be clear about this, if you compare chess, which has an average number of potential moves per turn of about 37, and Go, which has an average number of potential moves per turn about 200 to 250, the fan-out factor is amazing. Every one of those potential moves has 250 after that. you can't even throw a supercomputer at that problem. So it's not surprising that the Go community was absolutely shocked when this win occurred. But South Korea recovered very quickly, and a week later, they announced that they were going to invest $3 billion for AI R&D. That number is astonishing, really astonishing. A lot of the press said, well, you know, it's just a game, there's not much transfer learning, doesn't really matter. Except that win occurred in March of 2016, and in January of 2016, some people at the University of Toronto published a paper on transfer reinforcement learning, and they had a system that was able to play multiple games, Atari games, and if they were racket games, they could transfer their knowledge from a ping pong game to a badminton game, for example. So there is transfer learning. And just a week ago, Jeff Bezos from Amazon announced that he has more than 1,000 people working on Amazon's Echo connected speaker and their intelligent agent, Alexa. That is a virtual army of people working on AIs, a real symbiosis between machine intelligence and humans. And here's Viv, founded by the architects of Siri. And they had their launch in New York just a few weeks ago, and the press said, oh, this is really great, it's Siri on steroids. But actually, they missed the most important point. Viv is not just a tool, like you think of a computer as a tool. Viv allows you to delegate work to a computer, to delegate work to an agent. And that is a revolution in our relationship with computing. Their bold vision is intelligence becomes a utility, a problem-solving utility like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, just with us all the time on multiple platforms. It's totally disrupting the playing field. All of these technologies are utterly disrupting the playing field. Make no mistake about it. This is not just game-changing technology. The very ground we're standing on in fintech is disrupting. One of the key algorithms for this is deep learning, which has been the champion machine learning algorithm since 2006. It was pioneered by Geoffrey Hinton at the University of Toronto. Let me just show you a little bit about how it works. You can imagine this as a hierarchical feature extraction system. If you start with a series of pixels, on the first stage, it may recognize just edges, horizontal lines and vertical lines and diagonal lines. On the second stage of the hierarchy, object parts, like noses and ears and mouths and eyes. And then in the third stage, objects, like faces. And it's not just limited to 3 layers in the hierarchy. Microsoft recently announced a system with 152 layers. And why is that important? Because the more layers, the more ability to make fine discriminations in features. In fact, you may have heard that Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg hired this guy, Jan LeCun, from New York University to head up 3 AI labs, one in London, one in Menlo Park, and one in New York. 2 years ago, Facebook announced DeepFace, which was able to do pattern recognition of human faces and photographs in the Facebook database at a nearly human level, 97% plus accuracy. But just a few days ago, Facebook announced the deep text system, which is able to look at the posts that people make on their Facebook pages and infer what kind of recommendations it should make to them on what to buy and what services to get. So if someone posts, I need a ride, it may just say, shall I order an Uber for you? Imagine the economic power of being able to make recommendations about what people tell you they want. Here's a company called Brighterion, and they are using machine intelligence to provide AI as a service on the web. And they're providing those services to the financial community, to cybersecurity, and to the industrial Internet of Things. This company, Cabbage, is all about accelerating the ability of small businesses to get a line of credit. And their image of this is not a couple of days. They want to be able to provide up to $100,000 in a matter of minutes using unconventional data and machine learning. This company, Speedsci, is all about fighting fraud. And they are analyzing each step in financial transactions to look for anomalies and signals of potential fraud. All of this is being fueled by the increasing pace of AI investment and acquisition. From 2011 through 2015, over $3 billion were invested specifically in AI-related companies, not just fintech as a whole, but AI and machine intelligence. And during the same period, over 100 related companies either merged or were acquired by the typical suspects: IBM, Google, now called Alphabet, Facebook, Amazon, and Apple, and Baidu, and others. This company, Dataminr, has been around for a while with over $100 million invested in them, and they create a vacuum cleaner for data, not just on the web, but in private databases and Wikipedia and feeds that are specific for financial services, Twitter feeds, 500 million Twitter feeds per day. And they take all of that data and they run it through a proprietary algorithmic engine to provide financial insights to the community. All of us have a common problem. The human brain evolved under completely different circumstances than those that we have today. It has limitations of speed, memory, bandwidth, and built-in biases in cognition. So that says that we are going to have to augment our cognition with machine intelligence. It may not be located between our ears, but it will be distributed throughout the world. People often ask, well, what is AI really? Well, it's all these things. It's pattern recognition techniques to solve practical business and financial problems. It's software agents that can make highly efficient use of resources to achieve some specific objective. It's a vision of superhuman intelligence that actually hasn't happened yet. But that's a line that is often blurred by media and Hollywood because they want to sell tickets and eyeballs. It's also computer science that can accelerate all the other exponential technologies that you're hearing about: robotics, nanotechnology, synthetic biology, and medicine. You may be asking, well, what is AI really good for? And the answer is all of these things simultaneously. So if you are investing in companies, not just in fintech companies, but if you're part of a hedge fund and you want to know what to invest in or how you can accelerate your companies, you can use machine intelligence to improve design, diagnosis, and risk management, manufacturing, and administrative management, just everyday operations, customer service, sales and configuration, quality control. This really is going to change things. AI is already impacting human resources by augmenting people and adding machines, and that increases the precision and productivity of those people. It powers discovery and prediction. It transforms business models radically. And it's, yes, going to disrupt some labor markets. We can talk about that in the Q&A session. It's worth talking about. And it will alter the world's work landscapes. Like that radically altered landscape I showed you, that's the kind of disruption we're talking about. So this is a good news, bad news story. If I'm at a fancy dinner party at the Plaza Hotel in New York, and someone will say to me, oh, you're in AI education and research. The woman to the left of me says, oh, that's so great. That means that we're going to be able to use the power of IBM's Watson and our genomics data and our wearables data, and we'll be able to manage our healthcare like the CEOs of our own healthcare. So great. Glad you're working in AI. Then the person to the right of me says, oh, you're working in AI? I know what you're building. You're building this. And If anybody tells you that the consequences of artificial intelligence and machine learning are going to be all good or all bad, they are cherry-picking the data. I invite you to the adult conversation. AI, like all exponential technologies, comes with trade-offs. Yes, faster, cheaper, better problem solving, but also job disruption and human identity change and risk amplification, and in some cases, risk reduction. Let me give you an example of that. There are issues around trust all over the financial community, and even in communities like Airbnb. And they are using machine learning to reduce the risk of inviting someone into your home, or reducing the risk of you going to someone's home and having a problem. So this is all about risk reduction and evaluation. Here's Elon Musk tweeting in August of 2014 that we need to be super careful with AI, potentially more dangerous than nukes. You've read these kind of remarks from otherwise credible people. Members of my community, the AI community, thought that was a little hyperbolic. But to Elon's credit, he was with us at a conference in San Juan, Puerto Rico in January of 2015, where Jan Tallinn pulled together 50 AI researchers from around the world, and we sat together for several days and talked about how to control the long-term risk of AI, not today's risk, but the long-term risks. And we specifically signed a letter about the need for long-term R&D in verification, validity, security, and control. Also, to Elon's credit, at the end of 2015, he put up $1 billion with Y Combinator to start a new entity called OpenAI. And that is all about putting AI algorithms out into the public domain, so that AI and machine learning will not be the sole technologies owned by the typical suspects. This democratizes AI technology, and they've already produced their first product. It's called OpenAI Gym, and it is a system for evaluating reinforcement learning algorithms. And this allows people to work with the technology. It's a test bed. It's available for free. You can download it off the web. AIs have been sponsored by governments and corporations around the world, and for very good reason. I did a study of 360 innovative AI applications, and I looked for patterns that they all had in common. And it's not just better, faster, cheaper. It's different. AI allows us to expand the range of the possible, to expand what humans can do, either individually or in teams. So I am encouraging you to build an application-oriented AI toolbox. And there is an amazing amount of software now available for free or for relatively low prices. Alphabet has recently open-sourced TensorFlow, which is an extremely powerful open source software library for machine intelligence. It not only does a good job on a single CPU or GPU, a graphical processing unit, but it allows you to create parallel computations and make them very fast. You can also download the R programming kit onto your laptop and play with these algorithms. You can use RStudio to make R easier to use. It's a graphical environment for R. If you can't do it yourself, you can invite a high school student to help you. And if you still can't make that work, you can post money in a contest and post your data in the public domain and have hundreds of the world's best data scientists compete for the solution to your problem. And Kaggle has been very successful hosting these data science competitions. But you may say, well, but Neil, we don't want to put our data out in the public domain. That's okay. You can use a company called Experfy.com, which creates a curated marketplace for data scientists and AI professionals. You don't have to put your data out in the public domain. You can just post your problem and have them bid on the solution to your problem, and then you can rate and rank how they did, look at other people's ratings, and keep going through a cycle of development with them. Very effective. In the spirit of full disclosure, I'm an investor in this company that came out of the Harvard X community. This company, called Newtonian, is after the disruption of data scientists themselves. They've created Eureka, which is a virtual data scientist. And they claim that Eureka can help you extract answers from complex data 90% faster. Well, independent of how true that claim is and under what conditions it's true, there's no question that this kind of software is going to provide more and more access to machine learning algorithms and de-skill the data science task. The Oxford Martin School did a study in 2013 in which they indicated that 47% of the US job market would be vulnerable to automation and disruption that way over the next 10 to 20 years. Then they updated their study to include the entire world. They updated the study in just a few months ago in 2016, and look at the numbers for developing countries. 72% for Thailand, 77% for China, 85% for Ethiopia. Now, why is that true? Well, they are calculating that there are more people, a lot more people, doing routine tasks. So what that says is we're going to have to anticipate potential disruption and think long and hard about the fact that we're generating a huge amount of new wealth, and we need to find mechanisms to help educate people and have people not suffer while we're generating this tremendous amount of wealth. One of the keys to doing that, to managing the benefits and risks of AI and machine intelligence, is to combine humans plus AI plus good business process. That's not just a throwaway line. It turns out that humans plus AI can outperform AI, and humans plus AI plus good business process outperforms humans plus AI alone. We are going to eventually understand how our brains work. We are going to reverse engineer the brain. And when we do, we are going to be able to build artificial neocortex. Our neocortex is about the size of a dinner napkin in surface area. We'll be able to build artificial neocortex with the surface area of this room, or Manhattan, or New York, or the US, or the planet. And the reason why that's important and not excessive is this. This is the accelerating wave of human knowledge. If you're particularly brilliant, you might be able to master 4 or 5 different areas of science and technology, but not all of these simultaneously, or the intersections between them that are the most innovative areas. This is truly an inhuman task unless you add AI. And when you add AI, it makes it tractable. So we are going to team with AI's strengths. We're going to get best-in-class performance, at least for some tasks, fewer biases in decision-making, super fast operational velocity. We'll have a partner that can work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, no vacations or sick leave required, no health care required, no whining. Isn't that refreshing? And limited empathy, language understanding, and 0 social grace. Remember, AI and machine learning is going to alter the balance of power between large companies and small companies. That's an opportunity for acquisition. It's also an opportunity for disruption. Let me make some specific and practical recommendations to you. To team humans plus AI plus best-in-class processes, to utilize machine and deep learning algorithms, to transform financial products, services, and operations, not just customer-facing, but inside your company. To try all the great free software out there, to leverage AI platforms that bring you way up the hierarchy of development and accelerate your development, to outsource via Kaggle and Experify and other services, and to be proactive about security, ethics, and liability. It's important to have a sense of perspective about all this, and I know of no photo that provides more perspective than this one, taken of the Earth from Jupiter's orbit. This is what Carl Sagan called the pale blue dot inside the yellow ring. That's where all of us live. That's where everyone you have ever loved lives. That's where everyone who has ever lived in human history has lived. It should be obvious by now that we are all in this together, and we damn well better act like it. Thank you very much.